بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو على ما من به علينا من النعم الكثيرة الظاهرة والباطنة وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. By the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most compassionate, all praise belongs to Allah, the one that there's none that has the right to be worshipped except Him, who has bestowed upon us blessings and goodness and bounty, and abundance. Those blessings and goodness and bounty, that which is hidden and that which is apparent. And I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's alone without having any partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, that he is his servant and his messenger. May the peace and salutations of Allah be upon him. To proceed, إخوان, فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من علم الفقه من علم الفقه. As we continue to learn and derive benefit collectively together from the science of al-fiqh من كتاب الإمام العلامة الشيخ عبد الرحمن Ibn Nasir Al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala. And we're deriving benefit from the speech of the noble Imam Abdul Rahman Ibn Nasir Al-Sa'di. May Allah have mercy upon him. وَجَمِيعَ الْعُلَمَاء and all of the scholars of Al-Islam. طيب, سؤال قبل أن نبدأ. Question before we begin. هل رحمة الله تعالى خاصة للأموات أو يشمل الأموات والأحياء? Is the mercy of Allah specific for the dead, or does it include the dead and the living? Is the mercy of Allah exclusive, specific for those who have passed away, or is it for them and those who are still alive? من يجيب؟ who can answer your question? يشمل الأموات والأحياء. أحسنت. It includes the dead and the living. هذا مهم يا إخوان. أحيانا عندما نقول رحمه الله, that's important because sometimes we make the dua, may Allah have mercy upon him. ويظن السامع أن المدعو إليه قد مات. وهذا ليس بشرط. Sometimes we say, may Allah have mercy upon such and such. And you think, oh, he died. Why do you think he died? Because you said, may the mercy of Allah be upon him. And that's not a condition, ya ikhwan. Rahmatullah tashmalu al-amwat wal-ahya. Al-amwat wal-ahya. The mercy of Allah includes the dead and it includes the living. No. طيب, أين وصلنا? Where do we stop يا إخوان? وصلنا إلى حديث أبي هريرة. We stop at the hadith of Abu Hurairah عندما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام إذا ولغ الكلب في إناء أحدكم فليغسله 7 مرات أولاهن بالتراب. متفق عليه. The Messenger of Allah, he mentions in this hadith, is narrated by Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet of Allah says, if the dog licks the vessel of one of you, any one of you, فَلْيَغْسِلْهُ سَبْعًا, then let him clean it, let him wash it rather 7 times. أُولَهُنَّ بِالتُّرَابِ. The first of these 7, you wash it with dirt. استفدنا من هذا الحديث عدة مرار أو عدة فوائد. We benefited many benefits of this hadith. منه شمولة الإسلام. The benefit that we mentioned that's connected to this hadith is that Islam is comprehensive. Islam يتكلم عن كل الأشياء. كل الأشياء. Islam talks about everything يا إخوان. بالعموم, generally. لا نقصد ولا نقصد أن الإسلام يتكلم عن كل شيء بالتفاصيل. لا, هذا ليس بصحيح. We don't mean here that Islam talks about everything with detail. No. Generally, Islam talks about everything. توجد الأمور يا إخوان بالتفاصيل لا يتكلم عنها الإسلام. لا يتكلم عنها الإسلام. There are some things in detail Islam did mention in detail, but generally Islam talks about everything. طيب, قال فائدة, a benefit, جاء في صحيح الإمام مسلم رحمه الله تعالى من حديث عبد الله بن مغفل. There's another hadith that is collected by the Imam Muslim, narrated by Abdullah ibn Mughaffal, that the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, وَعَفِّرُوهُ الثَّامِنَةَ فِي التُّرَابِ. This wording is slightly different. The Messenger of Allah, according to this hadith of Abdullah ibn Mughaffal, collected by the Imam Muslim, he says, وَعَفِّرُوا الثَّامِنَةَ بِالتُّرَابِ. The Messenger of Allah, he says, cleanse it, purify it, cleanse it on the 8th washing with dirt. On the 8th washing with dirt. فَلِذَلِكَ الْعُلَمَاء يَخْتَلِفُونَ إِلَى قَوْلَيْنِ. So for these two variations, or these two ahadith rather, the scholars differ into two opinions. منهم من يقولون أن الغسل بالتراب في الأولى. أن الغسل بالتراب في الأولى. From the people of knowledge are those that say, from the 7 washings, that the first of the washings is with the dirt. ومنهم من يقولون لا الثامنة بالتراب. And the second opinion are those that say no, on the 8th washing, you wash it with the dirt. ونستفيد من هذا أيضا فائدتين الأخرتين. Also there are two other benefits we can connect to this hadith also. كم عدد الغسل? Benefit number 1. How many washings are there per se? قال بعضهم بالمجموع غسل مرات الغسل 8 بالمجموع 7 بالماء و8 بالتراب 7 و1 يساوي 8. How many washings are there? One opinion is that the total washings are 8. The total amount of washings are 8. 7 with water and 1 with dirt. 7 and 1 is 8. والثاني, there's another benefit يا إخوان, أن الغسل 7. That the washings are 7. That the washings are 7 total. لكن الأول هو الراجح والله أعلم. But the first opinion is more correct. And that is there are 8 total. 7 with the water and 1 with the dirt, كما قال في هذا الحديث الثاني, as it mentions in the second hadith. والثالثة يا إخوان, benefit number 3. هذا الحديث وحديث أبي هريرة لا فيه ماء بينهما تعارض. لا. Another benefit, the hadith of Abdullah bin Mughaffal and the hadith of Abu Hurairah, there's no contradiction. من يجمع, who can join between them? And the hadith Abu Hurairah mentions فاغسله 7. في حديث مغفل عفروه 8 بالتراب. And the hadith of Abu Hurairah mentions let him wash it 7 times. And then the first with dirt, it mentions 7. Right? And the hadith of Abdullah bin Mughaffal, it mentions then you cleanse it on the 8th time with dirt. It looks like a contradiction. 7 and 8. There's no contradiction here. Who can explain? How can 7 and 8 be the same?
Because the first one is dirt.
Huh? And then the 7?
It's water.
And with the water. No contradiction. When the Prophet said, فَلْيَغْسِلْهُ 7, let him wash it 7 times. أُولَهُنَّ بِالتُّرَابِ, the first of the 7. Not on the first, going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. The first, before you get to the washing, wash that with dirt. Or cleanse it with dirt. But that's the first initial one. But that's not with dirt. So the Prophet said, فَلْيَغْسِلْهُ, because the washing with dirt is not really a washing. You wouldn't call that washing. That's a cleansing or purifying, but you wouldn't call that washing. Washing is only bil-ma. Washing is only with water. إذا ننظف هذه طاولة بالتراب. We cleanse this table with dirt. لا نسمي هذه النظافة الغسلة أبدا. If we cleanse this table with dirt, we take the dirt and we scrub it with the dirt. We wouldn't say we washed it. We wouldn't say we washed it. لأننا ما استخدمنا الماء. ما استخدمنا الماء, because we didn't use water. So there's no contradiction here, يا إخوان. Remember يا إخوان, في ديننا لا يوجد تعارض في أي شيء ما. الإسلام كامل. Remember, there's no contradiction in Islam. There's no opposition in Islam ever. Islam is complete. كمله الله تعالى من فوق السماوات السبع. Allah Ta'ala completed Islam from above the seven heavens. طيب, من لا يفهم, who doesn't understand يا إخوان. طيب, قال ابن حجر رحمه الله تعالى في الفتح. Imam al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar, he mentions in his explanation of Al-Bukhari, فتح الباري, رواية أولاهن أرجح من حديث أكثرين من حيث الأكثرين والأحفظية والمعنى لأن ماذا التطريق لآخرة يحتاج إلى غسلة أخرى لتنظيفه. He says here, the strongest point of view, once again, with most of the people, is that the meaning of the hadith, of the scholars, the meaning of the hadith is that you wash it, the 7 washings, and then on the 8th one, this is actually not a washing, this is a cleansing. This is not a washing, so there's no contradiction here. Walhamdulillahi wa rabbil alameen. قال الإمام السعدي رحمه الله. السعدي continues. قال والأشياء النجسة, those things that are impure. He says, بول الآدمي, urine of the children of Adam, وعذرته, and the defecation of Adam, the bowl, والغائط, the urine and the defecation are impure. والدم, and blood. إلا أنه يعفى عن الدم اليسير. However, if you have a little bit of blood, then this is overlooked. This is pardoned. So the blood here has to be a flowing blood, a lot of blood. If the blood is الدم اليسير يعفى عنه. If it's a small amount of blood, عندك جرح, you have a wound, مثلا, ويسيل من هذا الجرح دم يسير خفيف, هذا لا حرج, هذا لا حرج. You have a wound and you have a little cut, and you have a little blood there. That's nothing there. There's no problem, no issue. The point here of the blood, if you have a lot of blood that is flowing. ومثاله, an example of that, الدم المسفوح من الحيوان المأكول. For example, the blood that comes from an animal that is eaten. دون الذي يبقى في اللحم والعروق. Not that which remains in the flesh itself or in the sweat. فإنه طاهر, for verily this is pure. ومن النجاسات بول وورث كل حيوان محرم. Another benefit. Another point that is impure is the urine of the animals and the dung of every animal that is بول وحرم كل حيوان محرم. Every animal that is unlawful to eat, then its urine is impure and its dung is also impure. Every animal that is haram to eat, the bowl of that animal is also impure, and the dung of the animal is also impure. قال بول وورث كل حيوان محرم أكله. Every animal that is not allowed to eat, then its urine is impure and its dung is also impure. والسباع كلها نجسة. What do you have for سباع يا شيخ in your translation? سباع. And every type of سباع is impure.
I don't have definition.
You don't have سباع? لا بأس. Anyone has another book yet? You have the translation with you, Sheikh?
No, I have the
طيب لا بأس. ها؟
ما هو السباع؟
سباع.
الحيوان فريسة.
Yeah, I think it's the wild animals. Is it specific or all wild? Anam, the animals that have the canines. Accent. Good word. وكذلك الميتات. Also those animals that die on their own. وعليكم السلام. إلا ميتة الآدمي. Except from the children of Adam. They pass away. They are not considered to be impure. وما لا نفس له سائلة. And that which has no soul. I don't know the intent here, ya ikhwan. That which has no soul. Let's see if he explains, inshallah.
Insects have soul.
Insects?
I
I don't know the intent of Sadi there. وَالسَّمَكَ, also fish. Fish is pure. وَالْجَرَادْ, and locust is pure. لأنها طاهرة, all of this is pure. فنستفيد من كلام السعدي هنا أن جميع السمك طاهر. We benefit here that the fish that dies on its own, for example, that's an exception. Also al-jarad, locust, that's an exception. He mentions because as-samak wal-jarad طاهر, because fish is allowed, fish is pure, and locust, a type of fish, is also pure.
Since locust is kind of an insect, does that mean all insects are pure?
That's a good question, ya akhi. ما عندنا دليل والله أعلم. We don't have any proof to say that. Allah knows best. But that's a good question. Good point of view. May Allah bless. قال الله تعالى. Allah Ta'ala says حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم إلى آخرها في سورة المائدة. Allah Ta'ala says those animals that die on their own and maytatu have been made prohibited for you. والدم, also blood, to the end of the ayah. Surah Al-Ma'idah. وقال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, and the Messenger of Allah, he says, المؤمن لا ينجس حيا ولا ميتا. The Messenger of Allah mentions the believer never is impure. The believer is never impure. حيا, while he's alive, ولا ميتا, nor while he is deceased. نستفيد من هذا يا إخوان أن بني آدم عندما يموت فهو لا يزال طاهرا. لا يزال طاهرا. We benefit here from this hadith that the children of Adam, when they die, they're still pure. When they die, they're still pure. قال أحل لنا ميتتان ودمان أما الميتتان فالحوت والجراد وأما الدمان الكبد والطحال. رواه أحمد. He says, and this hadith is collected by the Imam Ahmad and Ibn Majah. The Messenger of Allah says, أُحِلَّ لَنَا, it has been made lawful for us, meaning the Muslims. مَيْتَتَانِ, two types of animals that have died on their own. وَدَمَانِ, and two types of bloods. Two bloods are allowed. أَمَّا الْمَيْتَتَانِ, as for the two animals that die on their own, الْحُوتُ, a type of fish. What's the hut ya ikhwan? The whale. وَالْجَرَادُ, and the locust. أَمَّا الدَّمَانِ, as for the two types of blood, الْكَبِدُ, the liver. وَالطِّحَالِ, I don't know طِحَال ya ikhwan. You know طِحَال?
It looks like a liver.
Looks like liver. The spleen, I believe. No, the spleen. طيب رواه أحمد. Somebody check that translation يا إخوان. طِحَال, I believe is spleen. Collected by the Imam Ahmad and Ibn Majah. قال spleen. Alhamdulillah. قال الشارح, the explainer, he mentions الأشياء النجسة التي ذكرها المؤلف هي, those things that are unlawful, those things that are impure, rather, that the author mentions, they are Bowl al-Adami, number one. Write this down, ya ikhwan. Those things that are najis. Those things that are najis, according to As-Sa'di. Number one, al-bawlu or bowl al-Adami. Urine of Bani Adam. Mankind's urine. Human urine. وَعُضُرَتُهُ, and defecation, or you can say feces, of man, of humans. سواء كان صغيرا أو كبيرا. It makes no difference here if it's from someone that is small or someone that is old, someone that is young or someone that is older. Makes no difference. It's still impure. وهي من الأنجاس العينية. And these are things that they themselves are impure. فالبول والغائط نجسة. So number one, urine and feces are impure. لأنها مستقذرة مستقبحة. Because they are filthy, they are dirty. تنفر النفوس منها. And they are filthy, they are impure, and it makes the people turn away. They are filthy, they are dirty. طيب قال فإذا وقعت على الثوب أو نحوه فإنها تغسل حيث يزول أثرها. So if urine or defecation falls on one's garment or the likes, then it should be washed away and removed حتى يزول أثره, so that its traces are also removed. Athani, number two. He put one and two together. You can write urine and defecation. If you put them together, number two. If you separate them, number three. Take this from me and let them know I'm in class. The brothers are taught it. Let them know I'm in class, inshallah. Now I'll call them right back. قال رحمه الله تعالى دم الآدمي. Number three, next point, the blood of Adam. The blood of Adam. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ذكر رحمه الله تعالى من النجاسات إلا الدم اليسير. He says, so the Imam, he mentions here that blood of Adam is impure. The blood of Adam is impure, except Ad-dama al-yasira. Write this down, ya ikhwan. Blood is impure, except the blood that's real small, real light. Ad-dam al-yasir, light blood. Here, that's an exception. So you're going to write blood is najis. Al-aslu fi dam annahu najis. The origin regarding blood is that blood is impure. Illa ad-dam al-yasira, except blood that is a little bit of blood. قال فإنه يعفى عنه. So this small amount of blood is pardoned, is forgiven, is overlooked. لأن الإمام أحمد رحمه الله تعالى نقل الإجماع على نجاسة الدم. Next point, he says because Imam Ahmad rahimahullah mentions the consensus. Imam Ahmad, write this down, ya ikhwan. Imam Ahmad mentions a consensus that all of the scholars agree, according to Imam Ahmad at that time, that blood is najis. So I want you to write it down. Ad-damu najasun bil-ijma' kama naqalahu al-Ahmad. Or naqalahu Ahmad. So you're going to write blood is impure with the consensus of the scholars, according to Imam Ahmad. Blood is najas according to najas with the consensus of the scholars, according to Imam Ahmad. وَنَقَلَهُ عَنْهُ شيخ الإسلام Ibn Taymiyyah. Another benefit. And Ibn Taymiyyah mentions that Imam Ahmed said, that was a consensus. So two benefits here. Blood is najis. Ibn Taymiyyah said, Imam Ahmed said, it was a consensus in this regard. طيب. May Allah bless you all, ya ikhwan.
So even a small amount is...
And the small amount is still, blood. The origin of blood is najis, impure. But a small amount is yu'fa an, is forgiven, is pardoned, because it's so small of an amount. You have a wound on you, for example, and you have a little bit of blood. Here, you don't have to break. You didn't break your wudu. You didn't break your salah. But say you have a large amount of blood on you, a very great amount of blood. Now you have to go cleanse yourself, make wudu again, get the impurity off you, and then make your salah, inshallah ta'ala. So blood, the origin of blood is impure. However, if it's a small amount, according to a Sa'di, yu'fa anhu, then this small amount is pardoned and forgiven.
So what about the case when you don't have water?
You don't have no water.
And you have like some sort of...
Right, can you cleanse the blood off you? Maybe wrap it, for example. If you have blood, you have an injury, and the blood is flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing. If you can, you try to control the blood. You try to cleanse the blood. You try to maintain and wrap the blood, for example. No.
So does that like break your, like how do you break?
First, you have to maintain the blood first.
Okay.
You have to control the blood, cleanse the blood first and foremost, control the blood, get the blood in the way first before you can actually start the salah. No. Qala wal arjah wallahu a'lam. He says, and the strongest opinion, and Allah knows best. أن دم الإنسان ما لم يخرج من السبيلين طاهر. Next point, and we'll stop here inshallah ta'ala. I'm supposed to do a counseling ya ikhwan with this couple, so we're going to stop shortly inshallah ta'ala, so we can talk to the brother and the sister inshallah ta'ala. He says, وَالرَّاجِحْ وَالْعَالَمْ, the strongest opinion, and Allah knows best, أن الدم الإنسان ما لم يخرج من سبيلين طاهر. He says, blood that comes from Bani Adam, from mankind, that does not come from the two private parts, this blood is lawful. He brings a different opinion here. Right? We mentioned the first opinion, that the origin of blood is that it is najis. Right? He says there's another point of view, and it appears to be the strongest. He says, now this is the explainer of the words of As-Sa'di, another sheikh. He says, أن دم الإنسان ما لم يخرج من السبيلين طاهر. He's arguing the point that it's not all blood. As-Sa'di appears to have kept it general, except for the small blood. Other scholars, they say, no, the intent of blood here is not any blood. It's specific blood. Blood that does not come from the two private parts. If you have blood that comes from somewhere else, that blood is not pure. So he brings two arguments. We have As-Sa'di's point of view, that all blood is impure. There's another point of view, and that's why fiqh is so important, ya ikhwan. نجد أحيانا أن العلماء يختلفون. وهذا كثير. You're going to find that sometimes the scholars, they differ. A lot of times they differ, ya ikhwan. He says, ما لم يخرج من السبيلين طاهر, that which does not come from the two private parts, then this blood is pure. Meaning, the blood that's impure is the blood that comes from the private parts. This is the blood that's impure. وبه قال المؤلف في كتاب الاختيارات واختاره الشوكاني وشيخنا ابن عثيمين. He says, and As-Sa'di mentioned this point of view in another book. Also the great Imam Al-Shawkani, may Allah have mercy upon him, that was his opinion. Also, Al-Imam Al-Uthaymin. So we're going to write, so we benefit collectively, you're going to write, regarding blood, there are 2 point of views. 2 point of views. All of the blood is najis, except blood that's a little bit of blood. That's the first point of view. Second point of view, the blood that is impure is the blood that comes from the private parts. And this appears to be the strongest opinion. Wallahu a'lam. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. So there are 2 point of views. All blood is impure except blood that's a little. And the second point of view, the only blood that's impure is the blood that comes from the private parts. And that's the opinion of As-Sa'di in another book, Shawkani, and Al-Uthaymin. Also, I want to say Ibn Hazm, also Sheikh Muqbil Rahimahullah has that point of view also. And many scholars that have that point of view. From them, Sheikh Uthaymin. From the earlier scholars, Muhammad ibn Ali al-Shawkani, the great Imam of Yemen. May Allah have mercy upon them. So we stopped on the issue of blood, ya ikhwan. We mentioned blood of 2 positions. Some scholars say all blood, other scholars say no, only the blood of the private part. When Allah mentions blood in the Quran, He's not mentioning all of the blood. The meaning is the blood that comes from the private parts. The nafas, the haid, the period, from the private, for example. But if you have blood on you, some scholars use the point of view when Umar was stabbed, that the blood was flowing profusely. He didn't stop. Some say he didn't notice he was stabbed because of his khushu' in the salah. MashaAllah. Some say he didn't notice because that's how his focus was. He was focused so much, he didn't feel the wound. He didn't feel it. At any rate, there's no harm upon him if he didn't feel it regardless. Other scholars say, even if he felt it, it's not impure. It's not impure because it's not from the private part. So the scholars differ there. We'll stop there, ikhwan, so we can talk to the family. And may Allah bless you all. Wa subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. You told her about that call right back?